Hello everyone, my name is Emma Borders, and today I want to talk to you about something super basic but super important. I'm going to break down step by step how I hold my pick and how the right hand is supposed to function on the mandolin. But before we go any further, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like this video. Okay, so just to start off, I do want to say that there are different ways that people hold the pick. A bluegrass mandolin player, for instance, may not hold the pick exactly the same as someone who plays more classical mandolin. I'm going to show you the way that I learned and the way that I play, and I found that this pick hold is super flexible and you're going to be able to play whatever song, whatever style you're wanting to play on the mandolin with this pick hold. Even if you're a complete beginner and you've never held a pick in your life, or maybe you're someone that has been playing for a little while but you still have a couple questions about how the pick is supposed to be held, this video is for you and I hope you find it helpful. Okay, so what I want you to do is simply drop your hand by your side, nice and relaxed. You're gonna bring it up and you're simply gonna fold these fingers in, okay? I'm not squeezing, I'm not tense, I am relaxed. You're gonna get tired of me saying this, but I cannot stress this enough that you have to be relaxed, because if there's any sort of tension, that's gonna cause problems later, and we wanna avoid that as much as possible. So, once you've got this, all you're gonna do is you're gonna take your pick and you're gonna put it right in between your thumb and your index finger. It should look something like this. For those of you wondering, I do use a blue chip pick. I love it. It is super, but as long as you have a thicker pick that has a more triangular shape, you should be good to go. I don't recommend using guitar picks for the mandolin because they tend to be a little bit more flimsy and don't give you the best tone. But if you go to Guitar Center, Amazon, your local music store, I'm sure you'll be able to find a pick that has a shape similar to this one. As long as it's thicker than a guitar pick and a little bit bigger, you should be good to go. Okay, so I have my mandolin, have my pick hold. What I'm gonna do is the forearm kind of rests right here on the mandolin, and my wrist rests right behind the bridge. And the motion from the mandolin comes from this right here. It's not up and down, but it's side to side like this. This is where your dynamics are going to come from, where your clarity is going to come from. It's all from the wrist. I keep my wrist right here behind the bridge when I'm playing melody or notes. So just take a second and practice that motion. Get a feeling for what that feels like. My wrist is staying in place. So one thing that I see people do sometimes is that they hold the pick so tight that it does not budge. It does not move. So when they play, they get a little bit more of a harsher tone. Which is not what we want. We want the pick to be able to move in between our fingers. You don't want to drop it, right? We do not want to drop the pick. However, I can feel it move when I play ever so slightly. I feel it move in between my fingers. And this gives a little bit more of a soft tone overall. You never want to get to a place where you're holding it so tight that you notice kind of a harsher sound, or it's not moving, or your hand is like, oh my goodness, I'm starting to feel kind of tense. Another common thing that some people do is that they will have too much of the pick sticking out. So as you can see, this is too much, okay? There's too much of the pick sticking out, and that is just not super stable, especially when you're trying to play. it almost moves too much. It doesn't feel like you have a very good control over the pick. And we want to have control over the pick. We want to be able to control how loud it's going to be when we're doing tremolo. If we're trying to add dynamics, add a character, we want to be able to control this pick and not feel like we're hanging on for dear life. So for me, this feels very comfortable. Everybody's hands are a little bit different, so you want to do what feels comfortable to you. For me, I even have a tiny bit of the pick sticking out above my thumb, but that is what feels good to me. It's loose, but I still have plenty of pick to work with. So once you've got a pretty good feel for what is comfortable for you, how the pick needs to be held, I encourage you just to start practicing on open strings, because then you can really focus on what the pick hand is doing and making sure that there's no tension. Especially also focus on your shoulders. For me, I tend to have tension creep up mainly in this shoulder, not sure why. So I really have to focus on not only my hand being relaxed, but my shoulder, my neck, everything being relaxed. So again, wrist is stable, moves back and forth. Just start out playing eighth notes or quarter notes, whatever you want to do on an open string. I'd start on G because that is probably the easiest string. So just back and forth. Again, everything is relaxed. I'm feeling the pick move in between my fingers with each stroke. And it may take some practice for you to be able to do this without hitting any open strings, but the more you do it, the easier it will get. Once you've got that down, go ahead and move on to the D string and do the exact same thing. Now the D string is a little bit harder because we have strings on either side of it, right? So you really have to make sure that you're not hitting any open strings. And this just comes from practice. And then same thing for A and E. So a great beginner exercise is just to simply start off on the G string, pick a number, 4 eighth notes, 8 eighth notes at whatever speed, and go G, D, A, E. So just simply go across the string. So say I was doing 4 eighth notes on each string, it would sound something like this. Just like that, super simple. Go as slow as you need to be able to hit each individual string without hitting open strings that you don't mean to hit. Again, the more you do this, the easier it will get. And then once you've got that down, slowly decrease the number of eighth notes that you're hitting on each string. So that was 4, then we decrease to maybe 3 or 2, for instance. And then you do 1, right? And so just simply practicing like that is a really simple exercise. Once you've got that down, you can take it even a step further and add in some little hops over strings. So you're gonna go G, A, D, E. Slowly work up your speed. Now this one is a little bit more challenging, but it's a great way to hone your pick control into hitting exactly the strings that you want to hit. If you want to make it even more difficult, even more challenging, you can go E, D, A, G. And slowly work up your speed on that. It's important also that you don't just practice going from the G up, but from the E down. So you can practice those same exercises backwards, starting on the E, just like that. The same principle applies for getting faster when we start getting into more complicated things. All of these same principles apply, and I'm telling you, if you get the simple basics down, it's gonna serve you in the long run, because if you start out with the wrong pick hold, if you start out with tension and you try to get faster, you're just gonna run into a bunch of problems. So even if you are a beginner, I know you wanna play fast, you wanna play fun things, and I get it. I've been there and I totally understand that. But at the same time, I do know that really taking your time and being very intentional with these basic steps is going to be really important for building your foundation on the mandolin and for you being able to play those really fast songs cleanly with dynamics. So I really encourage you to go ahead and really focus on these basics and really get them down so that you have a good foundation for your mandolin playing. So yeah, I hope you guys have found this helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to put them down in the comments and I will try my best to get back to you. Also, let me know down in the comments what instructional videos you guys would be interested in. If you'd like one for the left hand, I can do that as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.